So it's good evening from your end, and I think we're basically on the same um timeline. But yeah, good evening. My name is Rita. I'm Richinda, and I'm the podcast host of IPSERIES. And I would like to meet you, Miss Jasmine. Please tell us your name, where you're based, and what you do, and then we'll go right into our questions for today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Jasmine Love. I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia. And basically, I do music catalog acquisition. I'm also a music executive. I wear a lot of hats. I was a former artist, hit Billboard, own publicity firms, run record label. I do a lot of cool things, but one of my favorite things to do is music catalog acquisition and funding.
Nice. Why did you say cataloging is like your favorite thing to do at the moment?
Well, I enjoy everything I do. I love it because I'm sitting out for people's creative. And so to me, everything that I've done in the music business also leads you to a music catalog sale, or maybe you need funding to continue a project. So to me, it's kind of fun because you never know what someone's going to do with the money. And that could be producing a new album, that could be, traveling, retiring, running for office. I've seen people even
Yeah.
buy jets with the money that I so to me, it's just a fun experience to see what people do with funds.
Interesting, interesting. So, in the course of your career and interacting with creatives, how would you describe music valuation in terms of what you do? Like, what is the whole process, and how, especially now where we're talking about the DSPs and artists are asking questions, should they sign up to labels or do they, go independent? How do you evaluate a music catalog at the end of the day?
Yes, so music catalog acquisitions and evaluation for us at Open on Sunday, the process is you need at least 4 years of making money off of your catalog. And then that way we can look at it and evaluate it and see what it's worth. So when you are looking to decide on your future that you may want to do a catalog sale in the future, we recommend having all your data in order. So whether you're independent and you're doing independent distribution and you say, hey, I want to sell my masters later. Maybe you want to sell your writer shares and you need to make sure that you're registered with the correct PROs and stuff like that. And which is like, where you would collect for your writer share or the publishing companies. So we buy from rights owners. So you can be a label, a producer, a songwriter, as long as you're collecting and have at least, about 4 years of catalog data, which you're collecting with our minimum when you decide to apply, then that's how we will look at the catalogs first. And then if you have like, contracts and things like that or loans against it, we pay those off. So basically the first step is making sure that you have all your documents, your, any contracts you sign, wherever you're collecting, having the logins, having your CSV files, your PDF files, like those are the most important things to start off with to
So, is
get an
there like
evaluation.
great? So, are you limited just to the US or your company, just look out or scout for artists that you think should consider music valuation in the course of their career as another revenue generation?
Yeah, so we look everywhere. So it's just about your sources and where your rights are. Yeah, so basically it just depends on like where you're collecting from. And so it doesn't matter where you're located. We need to see the rights owner that is paying you on for your collection. And then that's how we determine if we want to buy a percentage or that full source of that catalog at that time.
Yeah, okay. So what are the key concept or elements that you would find in a typical music valuation? What are those everyday or go-to activities or technologies that goes with music valuation?
Yeah. So the typical day, no matter who contacts me, is I need the data. People want, I can't get excited because you're a celebrity. I can't get excited because you've had these hits or wrote these songs. Like I can't get excited about it. Even though I may love you and I think you're amazing, we have to do business. And so when you have to do business, we gotta see the data. So as long as we can get the data in, that's like always the first conversation. Like hey, this is so and so, and they had this many platinum hits, or this person's doing this independently, and it's like that is amazing. I will add you to my playlist. I will support your artist. I will support you. But in regards to getting a real evaluation of your catalog, we got to get the data. We need the logins. We got to see the numbers. We got to see what you're collecting and what you actually own, what percentages, and all that takes precedence in us providing an offer.
Very interesting. I mean, what really got me was you saying, even if you like the artist and all of that, I mean, you're a fan, but you have to hold yourself and be all professional and be like, no, I have to do this job, get the right information, and I
Yeah.
don't get derailed by all of that. But then, what are the kind of catalogs that you go after mostly, or is there like a specific genre or a kind of artist that your company you
Yeah, no, we want all music. We buy all genres. Of course, we did a deal with BB King, which was amazing, which is jazz and things like that, blues. Oh, correction, yeah, blues. I'm so sorry. Forgive me on that. But I mean, we purchase everything: jazz, rock, all alternative, Latin, gospel, country, Afro beats. I mean, we're not limited, to anything. The main thing is the data that's associated with it. And the great thing about our company is that we are real music lovers. So we would get on a call and we're supposed to be talking business and we'll talk about new records. So we'll talk about old songs and have these conversations. So it's really great that we're not only in the business of, funding people, but we're actually music lovers. So for us, we buy all genres. We always have since the company opened. And we still do. So as long as your data is right and your information is clear, we're interested in your genre.
fantastic. So other than the data, you also have to be a music lover at the end of the day. So what other factors would you say influence the pricing when it comes to music catalogs and music rights in the course of your interaction with creatives?
Yeah, so the things that impact is like how long you've been collecting for. You have some catalogs that come in are legacy catalogs that may have been collecting the same for about 20 years. So that catalog is at the same level. And we know that it's going to make that same money for another 20 years. So there's really that makes a difference. The sources that changes thing. Like, what are you selling? Are you selling us publishing? Are you selling us your masters? Like, we buy everything, so we just need to see what source that is and how long it's been collecting for. So, really, for us, it's kind of hard to put stuff in a box. We just need the data and information. And that's what I stress more than anything. It's like when you're ready to sell a catalog, or if you know in the future you're going to sell a catalog, have your data and information together, know how to get to your accounts, and know how to reach your rep at your companies. So that way, if you need to send an email, some people are like, I can't reach my person to send you this document. And it's like, you want to just stay in touch. You want to have those contacts because you never know. You may need to ask them a question. You may have a loan or advance there. And you may need to, hey, what's my balance? I'm trying to sell open on Sunday. And, they're going to take care of my balance. So you want to make sure that you have all that information because it's good data for you as an artist to really know what your catalog is doing. And a lot of artists have different sources that you're collecting from. And sometimes you may not want to sell all those sources. So I just say, with every catalog, it's always going to be the same in regards to leading. Everything starts with the data,
And data
independent
is
or
very
major.
so
Yes.
data is very important, especially when you're talking about streaming platforms. So how has streaming platform impacted the valuation of music in this present music generation, if I may say?
Well, streaming platforms, of course, I mean, I use streaming platforms every day. It's a great place for music discovery. It suggests music to me as well. That has helped a lot of independent artists sell, their, masters, et cetera, to us, or, that source. And so for me, like we're not focused on if one is better than the other. We just look at if you're meeting our minimum and if we could do business with you based off of that platform. We actually have a playlist, which I'll send you the link for that, of some catalogs that we've purchased, and we kind of created some cool playlists and things like that. And we're actually about to. I don't know if we dropped the 2025 one yet, but it's definitely coming soon. We're gonna put that on our website. But our playlists are pretty cool. It has a mix of country and rock. It's just a really dope playlist of classics and new records of some catalogs that we've purchased. So for us, we love streaming music. Like I said, we're music lovers. So while I'm working, I'm just streaming music on different platforms and also discovering new artists on different platforms. And a lot of times it does give like credits and information on those records. And those are things we do look at. So when you submit in a catalog, you can actually send in like your streaming links or your Spotify link as well, or your Apple Music or whatever platform that you prefer to use. And you can send that over to us, and we kind of review that and talk as a team and put stuff in our, machine, and it's let it push out. But we as humans discuss what this catalog is and what it's doing. And then that kind of helps with the valuation of the catalog.
Fantastic. So I'm excited to get the link and also get inside your music love of the kind of songs you enjoy listening to. But interestingly, you also talked about independent artists, especially now where there's more awareness when it comes to the, you know, the disadvantage of being signed to a record label. I mean, Taylor Swift just got back her master's records, and a
Mhm.
couple of other artists have also achieved that as well. So that's kind of
Mhm.
changed the narrative when it comes to the music industry and how artists can actually generate revenue. But then looking at the independent artists, how can they create value for their music without a traditional record label deals, and also position themselves for your company to one day value them and say, oh, I think your song is great, your catalog is good, and we want to buy some of your rights or all of your rights.
I would say this: put out the music. Be a creative, build a community. I've seen all type of deal structures from every part of the world, when it comes to, independent artists or independent labels. And so you can do it. I just sent an offer out for a crazy amount of money to an independent rock label. And they just kept putting out artists. They kept building, they kept growing, and they just didn't stop. And so my message to everyone is just that, you know, be a creative, but also know the business of just having your information. The record label, have your business together. The artists on that label know how to get your, statements, your information, your producer, your songwriter. Everybody needs to know how to access the information, whether you're independent or your major. That's important. Some people feel like people who are signed to majors have all this information and they don't. And sometimes we have to say, hey, where is this data at? Like, we need this. And they're like, oh, I don't have it. So my point in saying is to, again, I know you were focused on independent, is that, just create. Because what happens is as time go by, that catalog builds and you're promoting and marketing your music, it will grow. And then you would know when it's time that you feel like you want to do a catalog sale or just leverage your catalog for future artists that you're, signing, or to reinvest into those artists. Because again, I've funded people of all levels. People you'll say, nah, they don't never need the money. They may be investing in something. Everybody uses the money for what they want to use it for. That's not my focus. I just love hearing the stories about what it was used for. Whether somebody else just did a movie, and it's like, wow, I gave you the funds off of your catalog so you can go invest into this major film. And so for us, it's really cool. We don't disclose people information unless they really want us to name drop. But we purchase, people and love and listen to their records. We probably own percentage of their catalog, but we don't disclose everyone's information. So it's really exciting. But I would just tell any independent artist listening or any independent labels, like, just keep building your catalog. Focus on being an artist or a record label or, a songwriter, and just, get the placements, promote the records, do what you can do to really build an audience to, make you some money. And when you get to a certain point and the catalog's made, or you feel like, hey, I'm needing additional funds, then I always say give Open on Sunday a chance to provide an offer. You don't have to sell to us, but at least you know what we offer you. And that's what I always say. Like, hey, you don't have to
I
sell to me, but if you ever think about it, you know the money's here.
So for anyone listening that's going to listen to this episode, please give One Sunday a chance, and Jasmine will be looking forward to working with
Yes.
you.
Yes. Give me a chance. I just want to provide you an
Give
offer. You don't have to take it, but you know the money's here if you want it.
Fantastic. So what role would you say technology has played, in the course of your career in terms of funding, in terms of valuation? What's impact? Has it been good? Has it been bad? Would you advise people to adopt technology? I mean, not everyone is screaming technology. We're now in the fifth industrial revolution, but what role has technology really played when it comes to music valuation and also um, helping you make the right decision when you want to fund an artist?
Mhm. Well, I would say this technology is a way for our company to move faster. Right now in our queue, most of our deals are about 2 weeks. We're getting offers out, getting them done, within 30 days. I mean, you could be fully funded for your catalog that you're looking to sell. So for me, technology has been a plus for us because we also have an amazing COO who built our technology in regards to evaluating catalogs. So we have a little secret machine over here, and then as humans, we still look at everything, triple check it, but it just kind of makes stuff fast paced so we can get you an offer. And then we say, well, okay, we look at this. Let's look at this person. Let's see who they are. Let's see what's going on. Should we up the number? What can we do? So we look at all these different things, but technology has been very instrumental in some secrets that I can't say right now, but we are using technology for sure to help us in regards to our data, our onboarding, and just the process. And then there's just cool text of like keeping up with deals, communicating with lawyers, and all of that. So to me, I feel like technology has definitely had a plus in just making those things easier, in that sense. And I know people talk about technology also in a negative way, but for me, I'm just going to focus on, those perks that is provided for, open on Sunday and what we do.
Fantastic. Interesting to hear you guys have your own special tech so that,
Yes.
it makes it makes your job easier. Now, artists, I mean, a lot of artists tend to look for licensing deals or sync placement. And
Hmm.
would you say that would contribute to um their catalog being valid? Is that part of I mean, you did mention data, but would all these little drops in the ocean, would it
Hmm.
add to the valuation, make it more viable or less profitable?
I would say this with the sync situations. So we have an amazing sync department. We've done some major syncs ourselves with catalogs we have. But when you're talking about providing it to get an offer, we have to look at that two ways, okay? And I'll just let you guys in on a secret here. When you have a sync payment and you've gotten it just once within a year, that doesn't mean that that's the value of your catalog, right? Because you're not going to get that payment every year. So why would we include that as payment of your catalog? But then there are people who have consistent syncs that we know that this isn't going anywhere. This is a record that's going to continue to get sync opportunities, it's going to continue to grow. And then we do look at that. So sync is not one sided. These license deals are not one sided. But we, again, back to the data, we just got to see what it is. And then we can say, okay, that's where we as humans look at that and say, okay, we see a bunch of sync payments here. How is this affecting the value of the catalog, and kind of go from there. But I know for some people, I just want to be clear, some of you guys are getting syncs. You're getting one sync a year, and you're like, my catalog is worth X amount because of this one payment I made this year. If I got a sync for 100,000, and now I've made 200,000 a year, but that's the only time that's ever happened, and it may not ever happen again. Hopefully, it doesn't. I mean, hopefully, it does happen for you again, but we it's kind of hard to evaluate that. So for us, we got to look at the paperwork, we got to look at the data, and that's how we hear. I say if you're getting syncs, that's amazing. It can up your catalog, but also I don't want a seller to think if they got one sync payment or it's like one off that determines their whole catalog, if you get what I mean.
So I guess from the one time sync placement, it's like a premature decision for any artist to, start considering valuation of their music catalog.
Seriously, if you want to transform your IP knowledge from to aha, come and hang out with us on the IP series podcast. We're here to inspire, to educate, and entertain you on your journey to understanding how intangible asset works. So, subscribe today and let's make IP the most interesting conversation. Else, we're gonna have a problem, guys. Please subscribe, okay? Hit that subscribe button and join the party.
What would you consider to be the biggest challenges when you are assessing an artist song or you are evaluating an artist catalog?
I would say getting the data. So you can't send one sheet. Like I'm at the beginning. I'm the salesperson to buy the catalogs. So for me, it's like give me the data. Like I can get on the phone with you. I'm going to explain what we need. I need the data. I need contracts if I need them. I need certain things. That is the hardest part about evaluating the catalog. If you don't provide that and then we send you something you don't like, you're gonna say, "Oh, now you didn't include this. Now you're adding more data," which is fine. I'm very, very patient. No hard feelings there. But I just feel the hardest part is just getting the data and information. And I would say, yeah, I mean, that's basically it. The second hardest part is probably just waiting on people's maybe their teams or people that they're waiting to hear replies from. Not on our end, just as far as things they may not have had in order or don't have the info. And I noticed that a lot of sellers kind of get tight with like their partners or places that they release through, and they're like, man, I can't reach them, and they're kind of upset. So it's not really hard for us; it's just for them in those spaces. So I just kind of feel sorry for them in regards to that, as they're waiting on the event, to hear back to actually do a catalog sale. But otherwise, the main thing for me that I do, which is hard, is just making sure you have all the data in. Because I can't send you an offer if I don't have the data. And I think, I want all sellers to understand that. Like, again, I love you. I love your music. I watch your videos. You're on my playlist. I'm getting on the phone with some of these people. I'm like, oh my gosh, look who I'm talking to. But I need the data. I need the data.
You are forever standing on business, Jasmine. The data is so
Yes.
important to you. Even if you're a fan girl, data comes first, and I totally understand.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I get off the
while
call
data,
like, oh my gosh. So cool. And then I love hearing the stories. I've connected with so many. When you hear the stories about people in the music business, you get on the phone, they decide on a catalog sale and across genres. Sometimes I'm talking to managers who manage some of the biggest stars in the world. And
Mhm.
it's just so much fun. And so that's why I love what I do as well, because now it's like, okay, you want to sell now or you want to invest and what are you going to do with it? But then the stories that come along with it are priceless. So again, I do fangirl out, even for a lot of people who are professionally in the business, because I'm always learning and growing. But
Yeah.
I still get on the phone with them, and they'll tell you if you run into somebody like, I still need the data.
So that means we should be looking forward to your book when they're telling us the behind the scenes of your music catalog journey or any other thing that you decide to venture into. I
Oh,
mean, now I gave you an idea,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, something may be already cooking, but no, a lot of things like again, we protect, who is, talking with us. But I could actually
Yeah.
do a book on just like preparing yourself for a catalog sale and mentally, because I've seen everybody at every stage, and some people just sell for fun, just they just want the money. Hey, I just want the money. I don't blame you. So, but other people have different reasons, and that's something that I might actually, focus on. It gave me a little something there, Rita. I like that.
Okay, okay. I like that as well. So after, data and fangirling and, just documentation, what would you say are the major disputes or disagreements or conversations that have been very difficult to have? I mean, I think you just focus more on the artists themselves. What about artists or the legend catalogs are having to deal with the family and explain to them why valuation or selling some part of their um, work can help build the what would I say now? We help build the visibility of that catalog. I mean, I don't know if you get my question, but then what are those peculiar or constant disagreements or dispute that you've encountered and you're like, okay, I
So
think I need to stop being this fine girl and then just solve this, then I get it over with.
yeah, sometimes people don't know what they can really sell. So that could be disappointment, that could be a disagreement. They could be, not understanding of what the offer is or the deal, that, not understanding the terminology. So that's why a lot of times it's great to have a lawyer involved. I know a lot of sellers like to bring their lawyers in at the end, which is okay, but sometimes in understanding languages and terminology or things that you signed prior, I've seen that a lot. A lot of people are not familiar with things that they signed off regarding their catalog when it comes, and now they're ready to do a sale. So I say, get you a lawyer that you can trust and that's good and responsive. And just make sure you understand what you're doing. And even if you get this lawyer after you've done all this business, I say, let them look at it and see where you are now and see if you can do a catalog. And then there's some people I say, hey, you can come to us, go ahead and provide everything. We get you a contract and then bring on a lawyer to look at it. So my thing is that I think that just understanding, some people understand the music business, the business part of it, and some people have just been creative. So I would say like that's the hardest, discussion sometimes is like someone calling me back and maybe, we've gave them this big offer, which they don't realize is a big offer because they're saying, hey, I'm this person and my catalog is worth X amount of dollars, right? But the data is showing otherwise, or they don't own what they thought they owned. So all of that kind of runs into it, or they're not collecting the amounts that they're collecting. But again, we have a crazy tech that our COO that's like data driven. It also provides this data to the seller, which is really beneficial. So it helps the seller understand that. So our thing is to try to solve problems, but we never force a sale. We just want people to know that, Open on Sunday is here for you. If you want to sell your catalog and you want an offer, we just want to be considered one of the companies that you consider for the sale. But we're not here to force a sale. And more importantly, sometimes I've turned down, newer talents who haven't even collected all their funds yet. Like, we want to make sure that you're winning because we're not here just to take from people or take from creatives. This is a part of you. This is a part of who you are. And so for me, being an artist as a kid, I'm passionate on that side as well, about selling what I've created and what I put my life into and things like that. So for me, I would just say the hardest part of it would just be, understanding an offer or understanding terminologies or what a person can actually sell. And again, we have a great staff. We'll all communicate, to you so you can understand. But we also too, like, hey, if you're not understanding something on the language from us, if it's something from our side, then we recommend getting a lawyer for sure.
Fantastic. I like the fact that you kept hammering on the importance of getting a lawyer to help you explain all the finer details when it comes to the process of valuing a music catalog. But then let's go to I'll consider it to be an interesting conversation because it's like hot topic right now, and that's on artificial intelligence. Would you say
Okay.
artificial intelligence has impacted the way you value your music? Because there are conversations about farming of music where artists go the extra mile to ensure that they have more streaming numbers. And you have rightly stated that data is one of the things that you consider during music valuation. So now with AI, we've seen record labels trying to sign agreements with AI companies. How is that going to impact music valuation in the future or in the present day?
I think everything that's new and does what it does is going to impact everything. I'm not a lawyer or a person that can speak on how the business will affect. So I wouldn't want to say the wrong things to mislead anybody, but I will say that we have a tech and we can see the data. And we're most likely going to know if something isn't what it is supposed to be. So we have a strong team on our administration, but that's a story for another time. But in regards to all the other things that are happening, I'm just watching it and I'm learning as
Yeah.
well. So for me, I would say I would talk to a lawyer about it. I would be like, hey, what do you think? But in regards to AI and things like that, like right now, I'm very hands on. I talk to you. I'm going to write you the email. Those type of things, but I feel like, in life in general, some things become a little easier. But when it comes to a
Yeah.
catalog sale, that is something I would talk with a lawyer about. But for us, we want to buy from people who have real catalogs to sell, real data.
Thank you so much for that
Thank
answer.
you.
We're wrapping up in a bit, so I'm going to ask you, what are those trends that you've noticed from when you started evaluating music catalogs up until today? What are those trends that you've seen? Has anything changed, or has it evolved, or is it still
Mhm.
the way you met it?
No, let me tell you. When I got into the catalog space, let's be very clear, okay?
Yeah.
I just, I did okay, I'm gonna be honest. I got into the catalog space. I owned a publicity firm for 13 years, knew a lot of people. People wanted to come to my events, etc. I have a nice phone of contacts. I have a lot of known people on, okay? And so I made the calls and kind of see how this worked. And I'm like, oh, wait, I could do this. I don't know anything about this on this end because as an artist, I was focused on the artist. My parents was focused on the business. And so now I'm understanding this whole publishing world, learning and things like that. I'm now 7 years in and I've been doing purchasing catalogs of all levels, from all type of rights holders. So my thing is, at first people were looking at me like, I'm not selling my catalog, or who are you? So for me, it's more personal. It's like, why are you coming to me to sell me? You buy catalog, or what you talking about? Why would you want me to? I'm insulted that you said it. Now, 7 years later, it's like, how much you gonna give me for it? You know what I mean? It's a different conversation. I think before people needed to learn, like I said, I just said this even when you asked me about the tech. With technology, things change and people learn. And I feel like with the
True.
catalog space, people understand the leverage of that. There's
Mm-hmm.
catalog sales and acquisitions have been going on since the beginning of time. But the thing is that, you know, it's just understanding it more. I see more people who are not afraid of a catalog sale. They understand how to use it in their business to benefit them. And so I think that that's the difference that I've seen. Again, I used to go out and I'm a networker and I'm like, hey, let's talk, let's do this. They're like, catalog? You want to buy what? Do you really have the money? All these other questions. I'm sorry, we got a storm here. But they ask a million other questions in regards to it. And yes, we do have money. That's not even an issue. But is your catalog worth it? And that all starts with the data, but we do have the
Mm.
funds. Like I said, we just want to give you an offer. But that's what I would say is the biggest change. The conversation and the looks I would get, asking people and then setting up meetings about the catalog. And to now it's like, oh, there's Jasmine. She's a catalog person. She's the market development. She wants to buy catalog. So they already know what I do. They understand it more. And they've seen a lot of stuff in the press about catalog sales. They've seen, these big artists purchase catalogs and sales and producers and songwriters. So I think all of that has been a plus for the catalog acquisition company, especially for companies like us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for sharing your wealth of knowledge. I look forward to, again, your playlist. And I'll
No
be looking out for
problem. All
your
right.
book launch whenever that goes live. I'm available. I'm going to get a copy. Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you had a great time with us here today on IP Series.
I did. Thank you so much for having me. This is exciting. You have an amazing spirit. I love this interview. And just so you know, like this is the first time I really sat down and went into details about catalog acquisition. So I really hope that your listeners and audience enjoy it and they can reach out and, of course, if you could share all my information. But I am excited about it and I look forward to what's next. And yeah, maybe I'll come out there soon and we do something together to really get into these catalogs.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. I'm honored that you chose to, share this much information about what you do. I mean, artists need to know about it. I mean, I would consider myself to be a creative as well since I own a podcast. But yeah, I should also be considering that aspect in the future. But thank you so much. Do you have any final words or
Yes.
comments before we go?
Well, no, just, if you want to visit openonsunday.com, find out how much your catalog is worth. You can also contact on the website and ask to speak to Jasmine. I see all of the website inquiries anyway, but you can definitely put my name there and I'll reach back out to you. I'm very hands-on. It's all about networking. And again, guys, you never know, what your catalog may, be worth. I am on LinkedIn, Jasmine Love. I am on Instagram, which my page is private, but I may change it after this interview so you guys can follow me. It's Ken
Please
Only
change.
DJ. I'm very private, but people who know me know me. So I'm excited. But again, thank you so much for that. But again, it's openonsunday.com and you can find us across social media. You can find us on the LinkedIn's, the Instagrams, all those great things. And again, just thank you for your time and thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time and you know the rest. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Have a good evening and stay safe, Jasmine.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.